All right, welcome everyone. Councilman Carlos Clanton, and this is my Superward 7 community conversation. And so we are here in the Jordan-Newby Library, and I appreciate those who are online or who may be watching us later. And I encourage you to participate. Even though you may not personally be here in person, you can definitely add questions that you may have at any point tonight in the comment chat. So if you're watching us on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, you can place those in there. But everyone else who's here tonight, I appreciate you all. And for those who are not here, I'm going to also recognize our school board member for Ward 3, Miss Jody Slaughter. So, did you have your meeting already?
Yes.
Okay.
But I have another place to go. I just wanted to.
Not a problem.
See your face.
Got it, definitely. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I have quite a bit of information that I want to share with you all. And this is one of the things that when I ran to get on council and to represent, to serve the community, is to be transparent and to put information out there. So yes, we will talk about MacArthur. We'll talk about Military Circle. And I want to give you the skinny as to what it is, as much as I can within the law, but letting you know where we are. And for those who know me, I'm a very fiscally conservative individual. I don't believe in raising your taxes. I want to find out ways that I can generate money so that I can reduce what you have to pay in as much as possible, but also care about people. That's at the forefront of everything that I do. I want to make sure that we take care of people. And so let's go ahead and get started. So why are we here tonight? Tonight, I want to share my year one progress as your councilman, demonstrate accountability and how I serve. I'm here directly from you as residents, because my question for you all is, once I go through all this information, is what am I missing? What is it that you want me to take a look at that I may not already have captured here? Okay, I know that's kind of interesting. The elected official asking you what you want, right? But yeah, and then we want to set priorities for year two as we're kind of moving along here, that this is a journey together. So this is what I said with my 5 priorities as a councilman, that I wanted to put focus on public safety and also safe neighborhoods and reinvest in our neighborhoods. Oftentimes we hear about, oh, we're doing something with downtown, we're putting money here, but then you don't see that investment back in your streets or your street lights, or just the normal things that you should see in your daily services. Also, affordable and stable housing is a major issue within our city. And I'm going to spend a considerable amount of time updating you all about some of the initiatives that we're doing, and as well as the Mayor's Housing Commission. Economic growth and opportunity. We're going to talk about some of the great things that are happening in the city when it comes to economic growth and those opportunities, and then really being transparent and a responsive government. So you'll see some things that I'm just going to share with you, as to, like I said, within the confines that I can. All right, we all good with that? All right, so look, let's just kind of talk about the numbers this year. So so far, total numbers of community meetings, I've had over 68 different meetings that I've been to, that Civic League groups, you've had me there. But what I want to draw your attention also is that our property crime here in the city has gone down. So from in 2021, it was 6,607. And today we're down to 574 incidents of property crime within the city. And you'll see that a little bit more in depth. Also, I've maintained, along with my colleagues on council, your assessed value. Our tax rate has not changed. It's still at $1.23. Now, I am not the assessor. I repeat, I'm not the assessor. I just set the tax rate. So when he sets your value, that's totally different. Okay. Just want to get that out the way. I know y'all still looking at it. Now, the other thing is, I've had over 21 different housing and affordability meetings, and we'll talk about that. Also, 562 direct community service requests. Yes, I keep track of every time people ask me to do something on their behalf. 12 different community events sponsored, and this is actual dollars either from my office or that I personally supported. And then violent crime has also gone down. Violent crime in our city is 1,062. Back in 2022, and now that is down to 513 in 2025. And the other thing that I want to draw your attention to is that there are 122 active infrastructure projects in Superward 7 right now. I'm gonna go through those, and I'm gonna go through some of them, but you're gonna be able to see all of them in an accordion by your neighborhood tomorrow, okay, on my website, right? And I'm introducing my new dashboard. So every month you'll be able to go in and get the same information I get on the status of every project, every road, utility. So you can go to Councilman Clanton's website and you can be able to see it, okay? And then I've had over 53 different ceremonies attended in my role. I highlight those things because I tell people all the time, and I hope everyone gets a constituent card. I'm not running for anything right now, and I'm not running away from you. I'm very accessible. Anybody knows you can call me. I will answer the phone. And if I don't answer the phone, I'm gonna get right back to you. Give me about 6 hours, but I'll get there. All right, we good? All right. So let's go ahead and look at that public safety and that community well-being. As I was talking about the trend on crime, you can see in 2022 when it was at its highest point, and you see a steady decline, and that is in the on our property crimes, as well as you see in that light blue line at the bottom, that's in our violent crimes. Okay, well, that's flipped around. The violent crimes at the top, and then you have the other one. But this is important. We've made significant investments in public safety within the city, within our increasing pay for our police officers, as well as our real-time crime fighting center. So when people talk about the cameras, we don't have enough people to be everywhere. And if you saw the Virginia pilot today, and it was kind of on the front page of the pilot, it was talking about the amount of money that localities had gotten from people speeding. Well, where do you think most of the speed cameras are located? In what zones?
School zone.
In school zones. So my other side of this, coming from the education side, because I see it all the time, don't be speeding in the school zones when the kids are going to school. We'll be making a whole lot of money. So it's a twofold on that one. I know there are some localities who really rack up money, but we need folks to slow down and be safe with our kids there. But I wanted to highlight that as a visual for you when it comes to crime. So let's go ahead and look at investing in our neighborhoods. These are just some of the things. Construction underway. Barrett Park will be opening this July. 23rd Street, drainage is finishing. Fire station number 11, right down the street down there in Fairmount Park, is almost done. They're actually just pulling in the equipment. And we have several water and sewer upgrades that are taking place, and some things that are in design phase right now. Northside Park, the Blue Greenway. I'm going to show you all an extensive about what that looks like, and also some additional drainage improvements there. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there was way too many for me to kind of list all of them here in a PowerPoint, but in my tomorrow at 12 noon, you'll be able to go to councilmanclanton.com and you'll be able to see the new dashboard, and you'll see all of the projects. And every month you'll be able to go there and see the status of every different project. Okay. So this is Superward 7 as a snapshot. So this is all the space that I represent. So if you're not on that map, I don't represent you directly, but I still represent you in spirit, because we're all Team Norfolk. There are, like I said, there's over 100 different active projects throughout the community. And there are 6 different major city departments, and those focus areas go from everything from infrastructure, public safety, housing, transportation, utilities, and neighborhood investments. Okay. So where are the projects happening? So if you look at that, 33% are dealing with facilities and public buildings. 23% is public works infrastructure. 16% is public safety. 11% is your utilities, and that's not Dominion Energy, but that's like your water. Okay, just want to get that out the way. Transportation and mobility, that's of course all our streets and everything. And then housing and development. And I want you to look at that, 7% on housing and development. And we'll look at a major project where a lot of our housing dollars are going right now. But we've got to position ourselves so that when we finish that project, we can redistribute those dollars equitably across the city. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about St. Paul's project. So where do these projects stand? You've got 32% of those that are active right now. And then you have 6.9% that are in some type of planning. 7.9% of those are completed. And then we actually have 13.9 that are kind of like on hold or bid stage. And I'm going to talk about that because I need to be transparent about the fiscal state of our city. We're strong, however, debt is still rising up, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show that to you. So what does this mean for Superward 7? 1/3 of our projects are actively under construction. Nearly 6% are moving through design and construction. It's an investment in balance across infrastructure, safety, and housing and mobility, and projects span every part of Superward 7. So when you see the map tomorrow, you will see every corner, every neighborhood is getting something. Everybody's not getting everything they want, but everybody's getting something. And I see my South Side folks, I'm fighting for more for y'all this year. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, this is my well, y'all see it now, so I can't ask. I was going to ask you what you thought our population number was. Well, census got it wrong. All right. And if you recall, the census count stopped 6 months before it was supposed to, and we didn't capture everybody. So what was reported in July of 2020 was 238,000 people in the city, roughly. Actually, starting in July, as of July 2024, we're at 245,000 people in the city. Okay. And that's important to kind of keep those numbers in mind, especially as we talking about services, schools, and all those other things. Okay. So housing instability. Now, this is an area I'm going to spend a little time on. Okay. So I am vice chair of the Mayor's Housing Commission, and I'm going to talk about what that commission is going to do and is doing right now. We're going to talk about infrastructure and alignment and redevelopment in the city. I want to talk about the People First program. That is very, very important. And then also our capital improvement supporting housing delivery within our city. So let me just hop right into the Mayor's Housing Commission. When I got on council, this is one of the number one things that people were telling me. The cost of living is too high. I'm hearing it from our college students who, we got Norfolk State, ODU, that are right here, and they're getting out of college and they can't afford to live here. Same thing for our seniors. Many seniors may want to downsize, but we don't have enough senior living communities where they can downsize. And then you have individuals who are caught in between. So this is some of the things that, take these glasses off here. This is all in the resolution that the council and what the Housing Commission is doing. We're determining the percentage of Norfolk's housing inventory that meets the definition of affordable. Okay. And that's a big thing. And we've done that. Determine the percentage of Norfolk's housing stock that is owner occupied versus rental. I know I got some of my Civic League folks in here. We get a lot of folks who come in, and I get a lot of these things about conditional use permits for short-term rentals. And a lot of times I ask the question, I have people who need places to live. Why do I need a short-term rental? And in some cases, yeah, that may work. But in the middle of some of our more established neighborhoods, I'm not going to support it. And so we don't have a policy around that right now. And so that's one of the things I'm looking to get included in there. Examine the fiscal impact of housing and the amount of unit needs to access equal of its cost of service. This is interesting. And I'll share that you all will get a report, an interim report. But when we build an apartment building, 9 out of 10 times that apartment building is going to have more families, which means that those children are going to probably go to school. But then when you start looking at communities that have older residents, you will see the number of times that the ambulance is called. So these are just some of these things that we were looking at, little pockets throughout. But then you start getting deeper into the respect of who lives in that building, not just the building, but we start looking at affordable units. And we talk about affordable units in the respect of LIHTC or Section 8. And then you move up to that middle, that 60 to 80% income, and then you have your market rate. When you start looking at that mix, if you have 100% LIHTC, which is all subsidized housing, you look at the amount of resources that are pulled on there, it's a lot. So we're trying to find the right balance. The other thing that you will notice is that Norfolk has the most in the entire region. We're not the largest city, but we have the most individuals in the city who are on some type of subsidized housing. Okay. So issue with that, and we're not trying to push people out, but how do we invest in people so that people can move up? That's where we're going to talk about these other projects when we talk about Tidewater Park, Calvert, and Young. We're not talking about moving people out, but how do we move people out of concentrated poverty? Generations upon generations of concentrated poverty, and we start looking at redlining and some of the other things in the city. But we're making some concerted efforts right now to tackle that. The Explore optional mix, subsidized and market rate housing, explore optional mix between home ownership and rental, and whether Section 8 vouchers can be better used for mortgage and rent. That's another thing. How many of y'all knew that you could use a Section 8 voucher to pay a mortgage? Yeah. And I'm trying to make more, but that's the main thing I'm trying to push right now. Determine whether increasing the supply of affordable housing results in existing residents paying lower rent. That simply means if we can build more units, then the theory is that it will reduce the cost for home ownership or just even to rent. But this is not just a Norfolk thing. And I want you all to know that we're not doing this in isolation, that this is an entire regional plan and study, because cities like Virginia Beach and Chesapeake and Suffolk have more land than Norfolk does. And so they have more opportunities. But when you start looking at zoning was done for specific reasons so that you wouldn't have high density, but you would have single homes. And in many cases, if you have someone who's living in poverty, they're not going to afford to be able to move into a single home. So we're working on how we can change that throughout the region. And so I'm the voice representing Norfolk on that regional committee. Okay. So now I want to kind of get into stuff I'm really excited about. And that is what's happening with the St. Paul's transformation, which is the old Tidewater Gardens, Tidewater Park. And what you're seeing right now is actually the third phase that we're moving into. We're actually in a little bubble. We're up in here now. This will be the last and final phase. And then here will be more homes. You'll have 3 and 4 bedroom homes, townhouse, and it won't be the larger apartment buildings that you've seen in the large area there. But we're going to look at this. St. Paul's transformation. This is a $119 million private investment that's fueling growth. Okay. So this is truly a public-private partnership. There's 714 mixed income homes, creating opportunity for all in that area. And it's a very modern infrastructure. And we're going to kind of dig into this. So the vision for Kindred was a place where people could, that was centered around redevelopment, transformation into mixed use income, as well as having shops. So you'll see a lot of these places will have shops on the bottom there. And then we wanted an economically vibrant community. This community is going to reconnect with downtown, okay? But a lot of individuals will have opportunities to return there. The part that I'm most excited about is the people first piece. I spent 6 years working in community action. So if anybody knows the Old Stop organization, I was vice president there. I went through Head Start, and then I was the senior director over at HR CAP. I know that in order to get any true long sustaining change is that you have to make investment in the people. And people first. The city of Norfolk is making a $3.5 million annual investment. We are a leading model leader in this across the country and what we're doing. And I'm going to show you what those outputs are and those outcomes, well, the outputs that we're doing and in the work, but what the outcomes that we're getting out of that. So here you are, family residential stability. 89% of those individuals who were in the St. Paul's community are now stable. Okay, they're not experiencing the stress that they had before. Tenant in good standing, 84%. And these are individuals who are making their payments on time. They're showing good stewardship there. Development screening, this is 88%. We're really focused on ensuring that our youngest are in early childcare, pre-K, that they're taking care and advantage of that. And what you will see in those pictures, some of the kids who are there, how many of y'all know about the Hunting YMCA? Heard it? It is still here. We just got a presentation from the Hunting Y, but the Hunting Y provides childcare. And when we look at the Blue Greenway, you'll see that there. We actually had several students who graduated from the program this year. And of that, I think 50% of them were attending TCC, Tidewater Community College, because TCC has a program that allows students who lived in public housing to be able to go to their 2-year college for free. It removes a barrier for them. And then they now have the opportunity to pursue their careers and to pursue a 4-year degree. So I just want to share that. So these are just some of the examples that I got a lot I'm gonna share here. of just some of those stories. As you can see, that look like when you're married, right? Yeah, that's former Tidewater Gardens student. So I strongly believe, and I tell folks all the time, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you make the necessary investments, people can go anywhere. So resilience design. So you'll see this is some of the stuff that's happening there. So I just want to stress people are not getting pushed out. Okay. The reality is this, is that people had the right to return. People also had the right to move somewhere else. They could take their voucher and move somewhere else around the area. And many did. They're like, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm over here. I got this house. I like where my kid is going to school, and they're not returning. But they do have the opportunity. Now, physical transformation. Y'all remember this, right? That parking lot. So I think I used to go to the doctor back over in the day over there. A doctor, a dentist or something back there. Mr. White, you remember? You've been here for a while. You see at the old, what was that? They call it Downtown Plaza? Yeah, Downtown Plaza. Well, that's what's there now. We got housing. And so this is another look at that. And where I'm showing the pointer over here, I don't know if you've come down St. Paul's, but when the sun hits it, the building actually changes color. It's the neatest thing. Yeah, I nerd out on stuff like that. So, but this is building 1, 2, and on the bottom level of all of those buildings are shops. Okay. Now I'm gonna put this out here. If you are a local business owner, we want you. We want you. We are putting investment behind to help you do build out on the first floor of those spots. We're looking for somebody to do childcare. We're looking at doctors' offices. McDonald's has already said they're coming back, and it's going to be really cool because they'll be able to go through the drive-through there. But we want community. So if you know anybody who was a small business owner, the community said they want it local, and that's what we're trying to make sure that we put back in there. So there's another view of that for you. And right in the middle of that is the transportation terminal. Okay. This is what some of the communities look like on the inside. Look, go over here. I said, wait, hold up. Let me go back in the corner. Yeah. I wanting to go back in the corner. Yeah, because I was like, yeah, there goes Scope, historic, Butte Street in the corner. The neat part about it is mixed income. There's market rate, there's subsidized in the middle, and then there are individuals who are on vouchers. The part that's so important about this is that you should be able to live in a quality living environment, regardless of what your income level is. And the most important part of that also is that when you start moving up, and this is what I learned when I was in community action, we have a lot of individuals who have these subsidies for years, and there's a thing what we call the benefits cliff. You've had that support, but then when you get to a certain income level, you lose those supports, and it's that fear, how am I going to survive? And that's what People First does. It teaches the individuals who don't know about credit, who have known about work skills, and invest in them so that when they get to that point, you don't have to leave your community. You can stay. And that sounds pretty good, right? Because guess what? Working people are individuals who are paying taxes and put more investment back in the community, right? That's right. So this is this is what we were talking about in the back. We've had 4 Tidewater Gardens members this year who were able to use their vouchers. And I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, let's just finish. On the previous slide, you broke out that it was mixed income and the market rate.
So you've got subsidized kind of middle.
What's the percentage of those 3 groups? Is the larger part market, or is it just
So the largest part isn't market. And this is what I'm learning a lot. It is very easy to find funding to do 100% LIHTC, which is all low income subsidized housing. It is very hard to get the mix that we need. The financing doesn't work out. So what we were able to do, though, with public-private partnership between the city and private investors, is that we do have market rate. And then we have that middle. And when I say that middle income group, that's really the group of like teachers, people who work for the city. And then you have your subsidized. Well, my thing is that if I have somebody who's subsidized at the lower income level, as they begin to move up and they get another higher paying job, and guess what? They can still stay in their community. They're just going to be in a different unit. And that's the thing that when we start talking about across the street, Calvert and Young, we start getting down to that. It's the same thing. We've got to break up this concentrated poverty, because y'all heard me talk about it earlier in the respect when you have lower income and that's not coming in, it draws on a lot of services, right? And so when you're drawing on those services, the taxpayers aren't there to put back into it. So if we can invest in the people, then we can get the people to be able to go up that ladder and be able to be more self-sufficient. Okay. Appreciate it. But I'll get you the complete breakout though. There's an annual report that we give out. All right. So more new construction underway. That's going on right now. And then phase 1 and 2, what you see here. This is what most people remember when you see Tidewater Park, right there on Tidewater Drive, right across from Ruffner. So all of that is gone. What was over there, what you see right now, this bridge, this is where the old Hunting YMCA used to be. Okay. But this is all the new greenway. Because if you think about Tidewater Park or Tidewater Gardens, what was the number one thing that you thought, other than public housing, that happened in Tidewater Gardens? It flooded, right? Well, there's a reason why, because there was an underwater aqueduct. It was literally half the city. I'm telling you, Norfolk. If you're a real Norfolkian, have been here, anybody born and raised here? Here we go. We know that this city, what? Look, our sister city, and anything, one other city that floods more than us is what? New Orleans. I mean, we are both cities under. Here's a bowl, exactly. So when you look at this, a lot of it's infill. These are like creeks and marshes and all the stuff is infill, and that's what Tidewater Gardens was. And so they are unearthing that so that the water has it where it's naturally going. It was going back where it has a place. But now what they're doing is they're turning it into a park. The Blue Greenway is what we're calling it. And this is what you all will expect. So when you drive past Brambleton and Tidewater, and you go down and you're about to get the interstate or go downtown, this is all the construction's happening over there. It will be a new park that's accessible to the community. There'll be the Elizabeth River Trail will go around. You'll be able to go out and just enjoy that. But it will be a natural runoff for the water. So no more flooding over there. And so all of those homes and those individuals will be protected. Okay. So here's another shot of that. So here's a full map of that. This is going around if you were going to the school administration building, going back to Hit City Hall Ave. So this is where it's coming all the way back around. So this is a whole park. And this is all where the water's going to run. This is the new bridge, Freemason. So the Freemason is now open back up. The street, you've probably seen the street light there already, but that's going to open back up and reconnect. There will also be, for any of my educators here, Tidewater Drive was the number one thing where I was looking right there. We got the babies trying to get over there roughing it, right? There's going to be a new light there that will stop traffic, okay? And then open that up. People can go there. Now, what you're seeing right here, this little white dot there, that is the new Hunting YMCA. It will anchor the Blue Greenway, okay? And will be recreation center and opportunities there. Okay, post office is this mammoth thing right here. Yep, post office is there. We wanted them to go, but they're still there. Okay. I mean, it's like, why you at this post office here? All our mail still going to Richmond. Let me not digress. Anyway, right here, same question. All right, so this is another viewpoint of the Blue Greenway, and what you see back there, there's St. Mary's. Yeah. But natural. And so just want to give you a breakdown of the money that's happening. You got 119 million in private investment, 94 million in state and federal grants, 191 million in city investment, and this is CIP. So when we talk about CIP, that's capital improvement. That is money that goes to physical things, okay? And then operating are the services. All right, so that's 34 million in that. And so there's 10 million from the Redevelopment Housing Authority, and through vouchers that are supporting this. A lot of our money and investment is in this project right now when we talk about housing. And the reason why I want to show this slide is that when we finish with this project, look how much money we have on the table to reinvest across the city. So this is why the Mayor's Housing Commission is so important, because we are developing a comprehensive housing policy that we'll present in June to council that will direct the administration and the city manager on how that money is to be redistributed when it's time, and how we will invest to support housing rehabilitation in the city. How many of y'all know we have a rehab program for your homes? Anybody on the waiting list? Did you know about it? We got like 500 some odd people on the waiting list, households, because we don't have enough money. But when we finish this project, we can redistribute some of those dollars. Because it's not just about building new homes. We also need to rehab the houses that we have here, right? So just wanted to share that one. This is another one. Again, I will share this presentation, everybody. I'm not going to go through all of that. This is the next thing, is in the St. Paul's piece, and this is Calvert and Young, okay? Let me just go ahead and address this now. We are not kicking anyone out, and nobody's moving tomorrow, next week, this year, okay? That's not happening. As a matter of fact, there's an approach about build first, where we will build opportunity, and then potentially build the building and then be able to move folks out, okay? We are in a very early stage in listening to the community, finding out what they want, very much like what we did in Tidewater Gardens. And so this is some of the significant things. When you look at Young Terrace, there's 621 different households that are there. And Calvert has 279. I got this bad folk in here, y'all. So we have a lot of households that we have to figure out how to reconfigure that. Okay. And the only way that you can really do that is with higher density. Okay. And so just keep that in mind, that we're working through that. There is a timeline. You probably will not see the first shovel in ground until probably around 2030. Okay. There's a lot, because you want to make sure you do it right. All right. And we don't want to disrupt people. And we're learning from the things that didn't work so well in Tidewater, so that we can perfect it as we move forward with Calvert and Young. And so when you look at these squares here, this is the land mass that we're talking. Now, I know you kind of see that funky little V in that one box there. Anybody know what that is? It's PB Young Elementary School. So y'all school board members here. So if y'all have anything related to Norfolk Public Schools, y'all talk to her. I'm just messing with you. I wanted to do that because y'all folks, but as you know, the school board did vote on a school consolidation plan.
Before I got there. Before I was elected. Okay.
But PB Young is one of the schools that are becoming offline. And there's several others. And just my little quick soapbox on this one. You needed school consolidation. And this is my analogy in this one. Schoolhouse A has half of their school teachers are qualified, the other half are long-term subs. Schoolhouse B, the same thing. Half are qualified, half are long-term subs. We're spending money to operate both buildings. We're spending your taxpayer dollars to operate both buildings. But if we can consolidate buildings, put more emphasis into putting a high quality school, the number one thing that ensures that the child's success in that classroom is a highly qualified teacher. So rather than me splitting this up, I can now put one school of highly qualified teachers to support the children. Okay, so that is a skinny for me. It's not about anything else, making sure that kids have the success that they deserve. All right, so this is what came out of the charrette. So the purple is the schools, public buildings, because the other one is the community center there. But this is what they're seeing as potential, what that could look like. One of the biggest things that you notice is that they reopened up the streets. And if you ever go through any of our public housing, it's all closed off. It's reconnecting that and reconnecting the streets. They also have proposed some type of greenway themselves, not as big as the other one, but another place to collect the runoff for all the flood water. So just wanted to share that. Again, timeline 2030. That's when we're probably looking at something around that one. All right. So I know I talked a lot about housing in there. I'll pause there. Anybody got any questions on housing? Yes.
If you go back one step, I'm looking for parking lots.
Parking lots. No. Oh, you saw the picture? I'm gonna be honest. That's one of the things that we're looking at. There will be some parking in that. But the other thing is working with HRT to come up with more robust transportation options. And that's where Councilwoman Johnson's representing us as a commissioner there. For any of this to work, we have got to have a better transit system so that people will take it more. But in this, no, you don't see a whole lot of, it's a charrette. So some of that might be a parking lot, I don't know. But you're gonna need some. Did you work something else on it?
Oh, sorry.
No, I said, did you have a follow-up on it?
No.
Okay. Yeah. It's just meeting with the community for ideas. So this is what they've come out with. And they're saying, based on what we've got, this is what we're presenting now. Again, this is not a final. This is just a concept of what it could potentially look like. They haven't gotten to that part yet. All right. So let me jump into Norfolk Cares. I'll see you. Norfolk Cares, I always find this interesting. So this is what you all asked for most. I'm saying you all, I'm saying all the Superward 7. The number one thing that people asked about was about a missed trash or recycling bin. That's what y'all called in about. Or container repair. As a matter of fact, I need to get a new one myself because they don't crush that thing. And I just kept looking at it, but I need a new trash can myself. So yes, the councilman gets in the same situation. Abandoned vehicles. If you've ever had that situation in there, we come and get those moved out for you. Improper storage, that happens a lot too. And then illegal dumping. You get somebody who's doing any of that. Call Norfolk Cares, and I've got this on the next couple of slides. You've got the My Norfolk app, you've got the website, and you can also call in those things. So here's the information on that one. Please use that. I will say this, my constituent card is over there. If we need more, I've got some more. I do meet with folks. Someone's in the back room who tried that. And she was like, I didn't know it's real. You can actually go on the site, and I showed up, didn't I? But I encourage folks to use my Norfolk app. If you have a concern, send it in. Give the team Norfolk at least 5 days. Give them a week to respond to you. If you don't get anything in that, or you feel like it's not taking enough time, email me your claim number, and then I will follow up for you. Okay, and I truly will do that. All right, let me just hit on Military Circle. This also is a concept for Military Circle. The biggest thing that the city that we did in our budget this year is that we did put money into the FY27 for design, and as well as a TIF feasibility to look at that for this recreation center. You all know what we're doing over on Newport Ave at the old Norfolk Community Health and Wellness Center. So Military Circle was another site that we were looking for that one. So we did put money into the budget to look at what that looks like and to hear from the community. So this is just some additional concepts as to what potentially could go there. I know you all have heard about ICE. Anybody heard about ICE? About the Admirals? Hockey, ice cream. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, whoa. This is bad because all I could do was talk about originally was ICE. I walked into that one, but yeah. Yes, well, the ice I'm talking about here is about the skating ring ice. But I don't have it really in my report here, but I have, as your councilman, dealt with situations dealing with ICE and dealing with individuals in our community. It is here. Okay, it's all over the country. But if you see something or you don't feel that it's good, contact the police. Let them know. And then if you really feel like you're right to not, this is what we as council members are here for. Let us know so that we can follow up. But this is Military Circle, and there we go. What their potential. Oh, the thing I want to highlight is, without getting into anything into detail, Costco ain't going nowhere. We're gonna make sure that happens. Okay, I know y'all should be happy about that. We're gonna fight hard to keep Costco. Okay, so yeah, we're working on that. Let me talk about the other thing, because y'all heard me talk about I like to raise money, right? If I raise more money from people coming to the city, that does what for you? lowers your taxes and lowers the burden on you, right? So destination tourism is the great opportunity that we have here in our city. And I'm going to hit a couple things here. Our cruise ship industry. I took my first cruise this year in December. I was like, I'm pushing destination tourism. I serve on the Visit Norfolk board, but I've never been on a cruise. I've traveled to all but 2 of the 50 states, but I've never been on a boat. And I went and I scheduled it and didn't realize it when I scheduled it that I had a council meeting. But I worked it out.
Yeah.
And so we had to jerry rig some things, and I created a bridge line for my stateroom out in the ocean. And they called me and got on my freeconferencecall.com, and I did not miss my boats. I still was representing. And then it was done. Then I went to the Lido deck. But let's talk about destination tourism a little bit here. I do have a video here. I'm not going to go through that one, but I will just highlight a couple things that are taking place at Transform Wharf at the airport. Who has been through the airport in the last 3 weeks, a month? Right? Y'all love some of the changes happening? I know y'all probably look like, what happened to all the trees, right? They're going to come back, but not as the way that they are right now. One of the things that to clear out is there is going to be a new rental car center that's going to be built off to the side. They're still working through the hotel. So there are some contractual things on that one. They're going to change the entire departures. So right now, you got to go on one side or the other. It's going to actually be facing the arrivals. Okay. And this past week, we just cut the ribbon. Was it this week or last week? Was it this week? Maybe last week. It's good flavor. Just cut the ribbon on the new international customs gate, which is really cool. Because I was like, yo, y'all gonna get y'all luggage before I get mine, because literally it's right there. Because that's the only thing that we're working on, and I now know why we got to wait 20 minutes, y'all, to get your luggage. Sometimes there's literally one tunnel. There's one tunnel. So they're working through that right now to get some new technology around that one. There are 4 new gates that are going to open on in 2 months. On Terminal A. They're going to move all of the TSA security to the middle of the where the atrium is, so that we can get more flights to connect without having to go through one TSA and try to go into the other. And who can name the 3 destinations right now that you can take a direct international flight to? Which got? Yes, I tried and then I couldn't get it, but yes, Cancun. Anybody got another one? San Juan, Puerto Rico. Oh, and then, the third one I can't say because it's not official yet. But I'm just going to say it's across the pond.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was going to be my yes.
Okay, it's across the pond. Right now it's Cancun and San Juan. And I'm trying to, right now with all this weather, I'm trying to get on one of them. It's been, my goodness. All right, so let me just hit here. Booming cruise ship industry. Carnival Cruise Ship is now home ported here. And y'all, every week, how many people are coming in and out of our city? Approximately 7,000 people. They're downtown, they're staying at our hotels, they're eating in our restaurants, because if anybody gets on the cruise ship, you want to get there the day before because they're not waiting for you. So you don't want to take that risk and not be there. And when I tell you that I met people from all over that are coming to Norfolk to leave and get on their cruise ship, this is great for us. And one of the things we demonstrated, because that Half Moon Cruise Terminal had been there for how long, y'all? I've been there for a minute, right? And it used to be the celebration center, so people could rent and have their weddings. But now it is a full-time cruise terminal. We did some reconstruction around that one, and we exceeded our expectations for our first year. So this is good. Yes. Yes, they're working. They're working on that one. Actually, I think is it Norwegian? Norwegian is here for half a season. And they are working with others right now to get another, because we've had Royal Caribbean come out of here before. I think Princess has come out of here before. And so as we continue to demonstrate our ability to be able to service this, we will continue to have ships coming in. And then when people come in, they're spending their dollars, which is money that you don't have to spend, right? So we want to continue to push that. The-
What's the time frame of this release?
Look now, I'm working on it. I can guarantee you right now, we are fighting. No one on council is trying to do any tax increase, okay? But again, like I said earlier, I'm not the assessor, okay? Right. I know.
Well, when you got stroke, they check your.
Look, I feel you. That's what I said earlier about the utilities. I said, that's not your power. We're only dealing with the water. That's Norfolk. That's, other thing on that one, but we're working hard, okay? So cruise ship industry, and then the casino. Now, yes, some of y'all want to joke about the temporary. It's like, what the little thing? It's temporary. It's there for a second, because if you drive past it now, you see all the pollen start to come up.
It is sad.
What? Well,
It looks,
it is, but guess what? It's minimum cost, and they're making money, and they're going to be even. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're going to make even this year, so it's not making any loss on that one. But when we finish, this is the rendering which you have here. Norfolk won't just have a casino; we will have a resort, and so that's 200 bedrooms that are and suites that are on the back side. There's meeting space. There'll be over 8 different restaurants, including a steakhouse, and many. And then you will also have the deck area, which will be lively there, and it will overlook into the ballpark. All right. Yes.
So I picked my son up from Amtrak a couple of times, and it's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
So once the regular casino is built in place, how is that traffic flow going to be getting that in the next now?
So I'm gonna use this here. Can you see it here? That's a parking deck. So this will be a public parking deck, if I'm not mistaken. And so right here is the Amtrak. So you'll be really close to where all that parking used to be. You now have a parking deck that you'll be able to utilize.
Is there still going to be parking on the opposite side of the street under the bridge or the?
If, from what I understand right now, there'll still be some parking there, but that won't be your main parking, because we still have the Tides games there. So we understand that right now there's a lot of congestion and construction, and it's just one of those temporary inconveniences for something that's going to be really good for us. But I know that traffic is looking at that and how they can realign some of those things. They've even looked at underneath the interstate, going over to where Ruffner is, and being able to open that up a little bit more for traffic. So just stay tuned on that one. Be patient, because I love riding on the Amtrak as well. The only other thing also talking about Amtrak is that, we lost the train, the early 6:15 train in the morning, and we have another one in the afternoon. That's not because anything with Norfolk, because actually Norfolk has really great ridership. It's because they are, we share rail line with Norfolk Southern and CSX. And so they are building their own bridges. Those bridges are almost 100 years old, the ones going across the Potomac into DC. And so it's going to take a few years. And so they do have an express bus in the morning that'll leave directly at 6:15 and take you straight to DC. Okay. So just temporary on that one. We did advocate to try to keep something else.
Leaving from the same turn? No, I don't think the bus is leaving from the same turn.
I don't know. I have to go back, because I haven't used it. Is it?
Dropped her friend off because she was going to the train.
Uh-huh.
They said, "No, go to the bus."
Yeah. So where was the bus at? Because
Bus just turned around and just made a circle.
oh no. Okay. Yeah, I'm on top there. So it must be leaving in that loop down there right in front of it. Yeah. I'll find out and put a little pull-up bug out there for everybody.
But I think
It's an express one. It goes straight from Norfolk to DC. Yeah, and it gets there about an hour earlier. Okay. Hotel demand is up, and you all may have, hotel demand is up. If you are trying to stay, well, I'm gonna say this, for 2050 and it's sale 2050, and y'all live here in the city of Norfolk, don't try to stay downtown. Just y'all come on in, just go in and go home. It's where the world is coming to Norfolk, and for about 2 weeks, you might as well say it's like our own little mini Olympics. We've got military stuff that's happening. We've got Juneteenth along with op sale that's happening down there. It's a whole lot that's happening in downtown Norfolk. And so June is going to be jumping, y'all. It's going to be a really good time for our city. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that everything isn't just downtown. We've made a concerted effort to ensure that there are resources and programming taking place across. And so 5 Points Park, which is right down the street from my house, Councilwoman Johnson worked really hard to get this park there. And there was a lot of, so you can go out in the summer and the spring and watch movies. They even had the dog day. That's what you're seeing here. So literally they had the little dog pup cups and all this other stuff out there. And they had the Caribbean and jazz. It's a lot of different things happening. So definitely come on out there with that one. Other thing, Norfolk Tides. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on this. As you know, Tides have been doing really well. Well, not this season, but they did really well last year. But what is it? The bananas. When the bananas come in, it's crazy. Anybody been to a banana game?
Oh, it's fun. I think we had firefighters last.
Yeah, we had the firefighters last time. There's a lot going on with that one. All right, keep moving here. Year-round tourism. Year-round tourism. That's the other thing that we're focused on, not just the summer months, not just Memorial Day to the fall. We're looking for year-round tourism. And y'all, we got an award. Did anybody watch it?
Yes.
The Great Christmas Light Fight.
Mhm.
We won I was kind of nervous because we were going up against Pasadena, and I think, and Houston.
Yeah.
And big cities. And I was like, but we brought it home, y'all. The Battleship Wisconsin won this big old gigantic light bulb. And we were on the map. We were on the map at night. Also, the Norfolk Botanical Gardens. Does anybody know what's happening at the Botanical Gardens in the fall? The Garden of Tomorrow is opening up. I can't wait. Yes. And so that's right next to the airport. So I just want to highlight on that one. Berkeley reunion. We have lots of reunions in the community, and the city is very supportive of those. Just want to hit that. And then we are the regional cultural hub. Okay. And I just wanted to share that in here along with this other one, just the our waterfront. We generate a lot of revenue to support you, the citizens of Norfolk, by utilizing our waterfront. And you all remember before the 80s, the waterfront was not used very well. It was very industrial at that time, but now we've really made a lot of investment to utilize that as a way to generate revenue to support you all. So here's some other entertainment destination things that are here. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that one. And I will say that we have made some strategic investments with our ship repair. And one of the things I'm working with that is to ensure that industry and community, that we're good neighbors. And so as a council member, I know Beacon Light has heard me talk about that, is to really be that conduit between community and our business and industry to ensure that they are reinvesting in the community and supporting those that live around them, and also creating jobs. We need to work with our public schools. I know our school board member left there. We'll have a joint meeting on the 10th. And one of the things I really want to focus on is getting moving on these career academies in Norfolk Public Schools. So we've got a new superintendent. We'll see what he's going to do. We're national leaders in our transportation projects and bridges and infrastructure where we maintain our stuff, y'all, here in the city of Norfolk. And then also flooding. And I don't know, Beacon Light, if y'all heard about the great news.
More fun.
More funding's coming in. What about flooding? We do have the funding though, because if you all recall, the South Side was left out. And the community stepped up, communicated about that in the city along with the Army Corps of Engineers. And so the funding is in place now. I know that we're getting things together to reopen that up for the study. And so it'll be about another year, but you all will be touched about that, okay? And then all roads lead to Norfolk. I love this one because I go to New Calvary and we know all roads lead to New Calvary. So here are some of the large projects that are underway. Maury High School. Okay, finally. Unfortunately, when this project was first presented, probably in 2017, Maury High School was going to cost $175 million. We thought that was a lot of money. But as we have seen, we've had a recession, we've had all these other things, and the cost of everything has gone up. And so we're well over $230 million for the school. And so we had to get moving. Yes, sir.
Just a sidebar. Isn't the new one going to be 4 stories?
Yes.
Why?
Why?
You don't have no big families anymore. Where's my grandma? The big families are gone. Even Granby High School, where my mom went in 1941 or whatever it was, They were smart enough to make it 2 stories.
but they expanded the building.
That's fine.
Mhm.
I mean, I just don't see it.
So the building needed to be 4 stories because of the land lock. The building, you don't have a whole lot of space. And also, I do understand that we are having a declining enrollment. However, many of our high schools are over capacity. The only one that really is under capacity is Booker T. Washington High School and Lake Taylor High School. And so in the plan, right there at the Norfolk Public Schools has is to move the technical center into Lake Taylor to make it a comprehensive career and technical high school and to maintain 4 schools that have programs. The main reason why it's 4 stories is because of the land. Now, the other thing is that when we finish with Maury High School, City Council still needs to make a decision on what we're going to do with the building. I can just tell you right now, I am not supporting anything. My vote will not be to tear this down. We've torn out enough of our history throughout the city. I would love to see if we could get someone who could come in and turn this into housing opportunities, because that's something that we do need more of. And so that's why it's 4. And when you look at the Moore High School and you'll see the concept, it had to go up because it can't go out. We also, you may have heard council just take a vote on moving Broadway over to Harrison Opera House. That's because we're about to put a multi-million-dollar renovation in the Chrysler. And then after that, we'll need to come back and look at scope, as well as we're also doing, I told you all about the community center. And then the biggest project that's very expensive is the flood wall in the city. We are still working very hard to get the funding to complete the project, but we're going to start moving with phase 1. Let me just share this about the city debt and its increase here. Remember, you all heard me talk about the 2 budget groups that we have. We have operating and then we have CIP. Operating, just think of it as the services. CIP is physical things. So your roads, your bridges, any buildings and things like that that we put in there. So when we do major projects, we get bonds, okay? And so that's like borrowing money so that we can do that. We don't spend that all up there. And then we have what we call our debt payment on those bonds, just like if you got in a car or pay on your house, right? Well, as the interest rates and things go up, the money that we have to pay on that goes up. And it's also important for the city to maintain its AAA bond rating, which we do have, because, you know, if you have good credit, you can borrow money cheap, right? So just keeping that in framework. But the reality is that all the projects and the things that we have, both those that are underway and potential projects that could come on later, there's an imbalance. And so our manager has brought it to our attention, and I'll show you here on this next one. When we start looking at the amount of revenue coming in versus the amount of debt payments that are going up, we've got to find a balance on that. And so council has to make some tough choices and decisions about some of our major projects. When you talk about Calvert and Young, that takes money. You talk about MacArthur Center, that takes money, okay? And one of the things that, as your council member, I can't speak for everyone, but I say as a general for council, no one is in any, no one is readily about, we're going to spend, somebody coming to us and say, hey, we need the city to spend X number of dollars for this project. Council's not doing that. We need to see a little bit more skin in the game from private developers and others for things that they want to do. So the other thing is that when you see these 2 lines here, council has established policy as far as what our debt is. And so we are approaching that. We're not over that, but we have set our own rules for ourselves as to protect the taxpayers in the city as to how much we're going to spend and what we're not going to do. And so the manager is working with us right now to identify projects that we know we need to do, but can they wait? And so we're going to be putting off some projects so that we can get our debt payments and get us into a better situation. And that's the best way I can kind of explain it and put it in a nutshell for you. Okay. So keep this in mind when everybody starts asking for money. Can I get this? It costs money. And does anybody in this room want to pay more taxes?
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
How about budgets that have already been approved
Mhm.
that are not being spent, but have been approved for over almost 2 years?
Yep. So the manager has been going back, and anything that has not been spent, he is going back and looking at those projects. Either let's get moving or we're taking them off. So he's doing that right now. He's doing an assessment of all of those. Because we do have some projects that honestly, we may be still waiting on equipment or waiting for something that's back ordered. And so we've had conversations about that. And then there's some other projects that might just still be in the design phase. And we might just leave it in the design phase right now because it's not fiscally prudent for us to move forward with it. And then we may wait when we are in a better position to move forward with it. Okay. But if there's a specific project, let me know that I could take a look at. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Moving. Okay. So new projects on the horizon, MacArthur Center. Let me, I know everybody's heard about the $1.5 million for H&M. Okay. The skinny of me is putting it this way. It costs about $3 million to operate the mall. Okay. About $3 million to operate the mall. Everyone in the mall, particularly our large tenants, have, before the city took it over, had contract agreements for their lease. And if I'm not mistaken, H&M had a really long one. So we have to make a decision. And that decision really boils down to, do we continue to pay these $3 million? Or can we go ahead and pay $1.5 million and get out of a contract and get the project potentially moving? The reality is that this year alone, I'm saving you $1.5 million. Okay. That money that we spent was to sever that so that we can get this moving. Now, not getting into too much detail because it hasn't been made fully public, but what you have heard so far is that we're looking at how to redevelop MacArthur Center. And all I can say is think town center. Okay. We know we need more housing in the city, right? We know we need a place and businesses that will generate tax revenue for us through user fees. That's whether or not you're just eating food or you're doing some type of entertainment. We know that we also want to bring business and industry into the city of Norfolk. And so mixed use is what we're looking for, rather than a mall, which I don't know if y'all know, MacArthur Center was the last enclosed mall built in the entire country.
Really? I didn't know
That's
that.
Norfolk.
I didn't know.
I opened it up. I was in college. It was my first job. I worked at Lens Crafters and Fairmont Jewelers. So you come and get your glasses and you switch my shift. But it was the last mall. But in that, just know that it's on my radar. Because with losing the mall, we're also, Regal has closed. And I was a faithful Crown member. But we don't have a movie theater other than, I think, the one that's over at the base. Right? Yeah. So, but this is on the top of mind to get that back in there, to get a mall, to get a movie theater back. Okay. And if Councilwoman Johnson was in this room, she would tell you all about Lululand. She's the queen of Lululand right now. It was a little joke they put in there, but no, you all said to us that you needed more family friendly activities. And so the old Kmart is now about to become Lululand, which is a big indoor play area. There will be a new Asian market, some other restaurants and things that are there, but it's a place that you can bring your family, and that's important for us. Yes.
So back on MacArthur,
Mm-hmm.
do we own that? Does the city own that, or do we sell?
We own it. Yeah, we bought it. Yeah, we bought it.
Is that the 18 million?
I think it $18 million that we spent for that one? I can't remember on that one. I just know that the city, it was done before I got there. The city bought it. What I've learned is that the city will buy something because when you buy it, you can control what happens to it. Keep that in mind. If you don't buy it and somebody else has control of it, then they can do what they want to it. It may not be what you want. So a lot of times when the city makes a decision to buy a piece of property, it's to protect the interest of you, the citizens. Okay. So it's not always like, oh, they spending money to, no, we're trying to make sure that they're not putting something that you don't want there. Yes.
Is that the attic? Does the city own the attic?
No, the city owns the attics. Yeah. The city, there was a public-private partnership back in the day, but that board is dissolved, but is a part of 7 venues. As far as this budget is concerned this year, I'm advocating for additional dollars for more programming to take place. We have a new art gallery. I want that to be open during the week. I wanted that building to be open more for the community. And so I think the manager is in agreement with that, along with the mayor. So we'll keep pressing with that, along with Councilman Page. All right. Military Circle. We are, again, debt, right? So whatever we do, we've got to make sure that it's going to work well for the taxpayers and that we don't go over our debt. But we got to make sure, again, the same thing with MacArthur with contracts and leases, same thing we had to deal with when the city took over military. So we're working through that one. I think that we've got to, we're getting close to that. And then there'll be some proposals on what you'll see there. Okay. And then, and of course, Calvin and Young, right? All right. We're 7-Eleven. So I talked about all the debt, that piece there. Major successes here. Yes. That's what that rendering is of Maury High School. And as you can kind of just see, it's really landlocked there. All right. So I'm down to the end piece so I can open up for you all. The last thing I want to kind of push here, as a council member, I am one of 7 votes for individuals to apply for boards and commissions. We have over 500 spots for citizens to serve. I need you all to serve, or you know somebody else to serve. And we have everything from economic development and redevelopment housing authority to tree commission, anything that you can possibly think of that might be a hobby or something for you. Scan this QR code. I'll also send the link in there. If there's something that you see that you might want to be able to serve on, get it, reach out to me, set up a meeting, let's talk about it, and let me be able to advocate for you. Okay. All right. The other thing is that I am going to start my gumbo coalition this year. It's been really hard. Last year it was like, ooh, a lot on the plate, trying to balance. But this is my gumbo coalition. You know Mark Morial. Mark Morial is president of National Urban League, but he's a former mayor of New Orleans. He's also my mentor. But he created a gumbo coalition. And it was, if anybody knows me, I'm the type of person, I'm just one big old, everybody, let's come on in. I don't need you to agree with me. I love difference of opinion because we can find something together. But government and community collaboration, understanding our challenges, mentoring and empowering leaders, bridging divides across communities, and creating opportunities for all is really what the Gumbo Coalition is about. And I'm looking at doing some new programming this year. One of the things that you'll probably see this fall is my block party. We're going to move it around Superward 7 to the various neighborhoods. So Beacon Light, if y'all want to do it, just talk about it. But it's an intensive day. That morning, we will work with the civic leagues and in a mile radius, and we're going to do cleanup. We're going to have bulk cleanup come out. We're going to have fire to come in and look at people's smoke detectors and carbon monoxide, the sheriff department to do the IDs for the kids. And then that afternoon, we're going to recognize members in our community. We'll have the DJ and have free food and just an opportunity for you to meet your civic league and to get involved and engaged in your community. Okay. And we're going to move it around. Ward 7. Okay. All right. And if you all sign up, so if you all have signed up to register today, you're going to start getting my newsletter. I try to make sure I get that out, and as well as streaming. So I am trying to get back in here more on that. I'm streaming right now, but I'm going to start having city staff members in here on live with me to talk about what they do. And to talk about, and the new one's going to drop this Sunday about the NFK 2050 plan, about our new plan around that one. And this is how you can reach out to me. You got my card there. And then, so what's next? This is the thing I want to talk about here. I just want to keep in mind that we're going to accelerate drainage and resiliency, ensure our on-time project delivery. I'm very focused on that. Make sure we don't spend too much money. Expand housing tools and options, maintain safety trends, improve neighborhood communication, reduce city debt, and increase strategic economic positions. And so my question to you, and now I'm going to open this up, and anybody who's watching here too, definitely if you got any comments, put them in the chat section here. I want to open it up to you all. So you've heard and you've seen a lot of things that are here. Tell me, what am I missing? What would you like for me to focus on? And so that I can incorporate that. So I'll open the floor up. Just let me know. Got things to wipe? Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
So Carlos, tomorrow I'm gonna be 87 years old.
Happy early birthday.
So I have some things I wanted to get off my chest.
Okay.
And one of them concerned public safety.
Mhm.
I understand that the city is 200 police officers short. They're budgeted, but we haven't been able to recruit them. So this money is just sitting there. I guess for 5 years now. So I have a proposal that it might be put to better use other ways. I'm not a defunded police guy.
Mhm. Yeah.
I worked with my civic league. They did a good job in Park Place.
Mhm.
Park Place.
Yeah.
So what I want to propose to you is it both affects public safety and education.
Okay.
A lot of our young people, we face facts. When they leave school, they go home to dysfunction.
Mhm.
I think it would be better off stand back and support mentors. So in the city of Norfolk, you take the sport of softball.
Mhm.
Norfolk the Norfolk school do very poorly in softball or competition. Maybe Grammy might be good up every now and then, Marvin a little bit. But Booker T, Lake Taylor, Norfolk, forget it. The girls don't play softball, especially girls softball.
Mhm.
But they don't have the facilities in the inner city to play softball.
Mhm.
It's like that movie, The Field of Dreams. If
Yeah.
you build it, they will come. They don't have anywhere to play softball.
True.
And I think if they stay back playing softball with some mentors,
Mhm.
in your gumbo, that mentor thing, I would say that you can't recruit these police officers, recruit some mentors in sports for children in Norfolk public schools. Softball,
Mhm.
gymnastics, tennis. You get kids playing that stuff in elementary school, by the time they get to middle school,
Mhm.
they have a little more discipline. And you can design it. I mean, I can't design it, but
Mhm.
we got the expertise to do it.
Yeah.
With homework components and all that.
Well, I will say that one of the things that, and I appreciate the idea, Mr. White, um, is how we can better utilize the reversion funds that Norfolk Public Schools has. And it's anywhere from $30 to $40 million. And that's unspent, like you were saying, pretty much positions that aren't filled. I would love to see where we could provide free after school programs across the school division. One, it would help with public safety because students would have a place to go. And if we were paying staff members and others to be able to come in to do that, we could do more recreational opportunities. But it also would also provide more intensive opportunities to do some of the remediation for some of our students who may need that after school. So I think it's a great idea. I've got it mentioned in here. I'm gonna follow back on it. And we can talk about a little bit more so what we could potentially do. But I know that we just had a class and I can't remember how many officers came out of that one. I think it was a large class. It was like 25 to 30 officers that just came through. So Chief is working very hard. And since I've been on council, I know I've been to 3 different graduations already. So we're working hard to get those numbers up. Okay.
But on that also, with the police officers and the shortfall, if you can't recruit those officers out of Norfolk, you're gonna bring in an occupying force. Which I don't think is good for the citizens or the police officers.
Yeah.
Because they get a wrong perception when they come from Suffolk or Virginia Beach to police in Norfolk, and they're dealing with an element that they're not used to. They get a wrong perception, particularly about Black people.
I'm gonna have to go back to that one because I'm not sure about other officers that are coming in. I know that we have some agreements when there's an incident on the borderlines, but as far as another police force coming in, and I know that we just had a fire in Berkeley, where Chesapeake and Norfolk firefighters supported there. But it's our.
I was talking about the ones who are actually on the Norfolk force. You need people who live in Norfolk.
Gotcha.
Somebody who lives in Suffolk and Virginia Beach coming to Norfolk to police. I don't think that's in the long run.
Yeah. So that goes back to my housing affordability. we got to make sure that we can create a housing stock so that our officers, our teachers can live in the city that they're also serving in. And so that's one of the things we're going to work towards. Okay.
Okay, now the next thing.
Okay, you got another thing. Hold on. I'm gonna hold that one. Does anybody else have something else first? What you got?
Yeah, sorry, that's fine. But she and I have some points.
Okay, what y'all got?
Are you sure?
Oh, what you got?
Already.
Okay.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, right?
Okay.
And then I guess at the end of it, I can speak to you more about it.
Absolutely.
Number one, thanks for having this. I really appreciate it. Okay, so the 3 to 5 days thing doesn't work for parking because in zone 7, we have 1 hour permitted parking. And it has been a continuous thing ever since, like, pretty much I moved there
Mhm.
since 2011, bought the house there.
Mhm.
It's bad. It's
Which neighborhood are you in?
Spartan Village.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so you said the 2-hour parking is not working
1 hour by permit.
by permit, and people just staying there all day. Is that
Oh
you have an
my
issue?
God.
Got it. Okay.
All right, so then I seen an ad on Facebook. The city was requesting apartment builders or something like that.
Mhm.
I feel like that should not be a thing. I still feel like home ownership should still be paramount
Mhm.
in the city. I understand it's small, but why not give it to the hard workers? You know, we hear affordable housing. Let those people have affordable. Let them be affordable. With homeowners. You get what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't want to rent.
True, but everybody's not ready to own.
Of course not. But
And
we
so-
still have some. that
But
go
we
through
do,
the cracks.
and that's why we're working to make sure we do both down there. But we got to make sure we provide opportunities so when people are ready. But I agree. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the RPP program needs an overhaul. Even though we have those issues regularly with the spring class, this summer and fall classes, we have heck of a hard time when it comes to the NSU games. I would have loved to have been in the meetings with the city members. When you guys were establishing or going through the coalition, how you guys made that plan for this year and last year, you know, with the football games. and stuff.
So I'm gonna tell you, I inherited it. I wasn't a part of that down there, but I'm gonna definitely take it back. So I know this is the first year that we've done it, and they ran to change some things in there. So let's talk a little bit more after that about how that affected you, so I can take it back.
Okay. Okay, so then, you mentioned the home renovation program, was that Renovate Norfolk with, Habitat for Humanity?
Habitat for Humanity is a separate piece out there, but we do have funding that the city provides to homeowners so that you can get your own contract with else to do rehab. However, there is a backlog on that, and that is one of the things that I was talking about with the Housing Commission to try to establish what that policy would look like so that we can put more funding in the future in there.
Okay, so we'll talk to you more about that, but
Okay.
I need not to prolong the time.
No, it's all right.
And then the last one is, you mentioned about softball. I'm from the country. So we play softball mainly, and then, you know, the boys is mainly baseball and basketball. Little shameless plug, my nephew's in 7th grade, he plays JV, end of the game, had several strikeouts.
Okay, what school?
Okay, right, so, and I coached softball at Booker T. I wasn't the head volunteer softball coach, but I coached in 2022 to 2023. And I would like to see an increase of that salary for the volunteer coaches or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it.
I got it. Look, your school board member left, but I'm gonna make sure I let her know.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Because I know that Mr. White, I'm gonna let him finish up. Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna get the lady in the back and I'm gonna come back. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm all for the renovations, the buildings and everything with, you know, the trends that I understand that, but I'm just not clear on the building and no parking. I mean, parking is.
Yeah. So I wouldn't get so hung up on that right now. This is a very early concept. And so when those spaces, when you look at that, there may be a parking deck that's in that, but they're just giving you what the space and the grid could look like down there. But we take that in there. We actually have zoning laws that when you build certain things, you have to have a certain amount of parking to go with it. So, but I heard you loud and clear on that one. Okay.
Second is, I know, they're going, I saw outreach in the community.
the CIP, the military circle. I feel that there should be, since the city of Norfolk is buying the land, obtaining the buildings and everything, and representing the people, there needs to be like some transparency as to how the decisions are made and who's being chosen, and how the decisions are being made, like who's being chosen to occupy and take ownership like of some of these spaces that are being, donated purchased by some of these people, or being granted to some of these people, because sometimes the decisions are not being made or equitable across the board. Some things are being made, policies are new, and when you approach something, just like you said, like that was made before me, or I wasn't.
Mhm.
So if it's meant for the people, we need like some form of transparency to know that it's really representing us and for the people.
Mhm.
And especially with outreach and a lot of the things that are taking place and being done on our behalf.
Well, I appreciate that. One of the things that I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to continue to have these types of conversations. I didn't run for office for any form of fame for me. I really just like helping people. And so I become a better leader to represent you when I understand your concerns. And so I appreciate you expressing that. I try to be as transparent as possible. I share a lot of information out there, and I hope that you or anyone who doesn't have it, take my constituent card. It's got my cell phone number on it, my email on it. If you ever have a question, I think you call me today. I'll answer the phone if I'm not, because I want y'all to also understand, council members are not full time. So I have a whole nother job that I run a nonprofit in juvenile justice. But so we do a lot of balancing acts. So if I don't answer you right then and there, it's not that I'm ignoring anybody. I'll get right back to you. And matter of fact, I'll do some follow. I got emails I need to follow up with people today. But I heard you. More transparency in what we do with buildings and opportunities. But I will say, if you're not following me, please follow me, because I'm always sharing information out there. And if there's something that you see that you want to know something about, just call me, Councilman Clanton. I want to know more about X, Y, and Z. I'm here to serve you and to support you. And I want to make sure that you feel good about that. Okay. Going back. You ready?
Oh, okay, just a quick one on infrastructure.
Mhm.
Is there anything in the works for Tidewater Drive between the railroad tracks and, let's say, Cromwell Road? Because that stretch is dangerous if you're driving. It is dangerous.
Yeah.
If you're trying to turn onto Shoup Avenue, or if you're at like Lafayette,
Yeah.
Tidewater, and you're trying to turn left, and some big old truck is coming your way, that is scary.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's people one of the things that, and I know a lot of folks have opinions about the bike lanes. They will tell you, the experts will say, the more lanes that you have, the more it just encourages people to speed.
Mm-hmm.
So when you calm it down and reduce those lanes, it forces people to slow down. I will say in that Tidewater Drive corridor down there, particularly as you go up, there's a lot of construction, of course, with 64 there. But I think there's a turn light that's supposed to be there on the Shoup one too, isn't there? I can't remember. I go through there all the time, but I'm never really. But if not, I'm gonna go back and check. It's only if you're going towards the city, but not on the other side.
It is terrifying.
So this is.
They are coming at you
Mhm.
full speed.
Yep.
You know.
So this is what I will do. I will take this back and I'll add it in there as a request for a traffic study. Okay. And that's how anything happens. Anything traffic related has to go through a traffic study first. So that's the first step. And I'm going to say, hey, let's get a traffic study here to look at getting a light placed there. And that's for anybody. If you see anything else around the city, just let me know, Councilman Clanton, this is dangerous here, or, can we get a crosswalk? A lot of civic leads speak up about things. I know my partner back there in Lafayette has spoken, and we're waiting. Yeah. Where?
It doesn't help. Because
But I-
the lanes are so.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a link there.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Look, there was a big crash there just
Yeah.
right there. Right there.
So we'll need to check on that one.
The
So
truck-
the trucks and everybody going down.
The road wasn't built for waiting them now. It's just a mess.
Well, and that's the other thing, you know, we're an old city that's
Yeah.
moving along, trying to move through. Did you have another one?
Scary.
Well, I don't wanna hog.
Okay, no.
But I will complain about the bikes. Anybody here ride a bike?
Me?
What's your starting point? What's your destination?
I can tell you, I leave 10 miles from my house.
Your house, where do you go?
No, I said fun, but I bike for fun. That's my destination. I don't feel I have.
What street? What street is enjoyable to ride a bike in? You're not gonna ride a bike to the bike cleaner. You're not gonna ride a bike to church. You're not gonna take your Amazon stuff back to the post office on your bike. You're not gonna go to Harris Teeter on your
Yes.
bike or food.
Why
So.
wouldn't you?
Yes.
If you really, the road was, the road was safe, I would ride with a client and I would go to the dollar store and I would go to the hardware store and the drugstore. Oh
You
my
can
God.
go to the hardware store and bring your rate
I
back.
would ask it. I would if I could, if the road was safe.
Okay, I'm gonna answer that in just a second,
Granby
Keenan.
Street. They have ruined Granby Street. Do you cover Granby Street?
No.
No, that's it.
You're
Still-
lucky, because I'm gonna haunt those people. They have ruined Granby
So-
Street between that bridge and Moore's Corner.
So I will say this, because we had the email exchange on that one. Because the same week that you sent the email was the week that we had those 2 crashes and fatalities on Granby Street. And I sent it back to you and I told you, this is why I voted in favor of this, to save lives, and to calm folks down. Same reason why when I see on the front page of the paper, people complaining about speed cameras. Slow down in the school zone. You won't spend all this money if you slow down. And I won't put that out there, but I get very irritated when I see people speeding through with our kids. So, but we can talk about that one and that one. I'm gonna take this one question here. Keenan Baskerville's online and he says, what's the plan, if any, to relieve the city debt? What ways or strategies, strategizing to maintain civic engagement throughout major decision making? So first of all, we're here. Reach out to your council members. I'm gonna put this out here. Coming to council with 3 minutes at a microphone, it's too late. Have a conversation. Don't talk at me. Meet with me. You can schedule a meeting. She knows. Call me. Call your council members. Email. You'll get a response. It may not be the response that you want, but you'll get a response from me. Communicate beforehand. Don't just do 3 minutes. It's all right. We're getting close. They're not kicking me out. So, but I will say this, and so try to have meetings with your elected officials. Okay, meet with them, talk with them, build a rapport, and let them know. I mean, we don't need to agree on everything, folks. We can agree to disagree, but have a conversation and not let it just be, because some people just want 3 minutes of fame, and and that's it. Mr. White, I'm gonna let you finish it up. What you got?
I want to talk about the West Point Cemetery, hidden treasure in Norfolk.
Okay.
Not many people can tell you what USCT stands for.
Mhm.
But in Norfolk, last year, Channel 10 put out a story about the West Point Cemetery. Says the only thing lacking in the South. We got it right over here in Norfolk,
Mhm.
and people who live right around the corner don't even know it's there.
Okay.
We got to do a better job of taking care of the West Point Cemetery, taking our children on field trips there. I never went to a field trip there. I went to Old St. Paul Church, my house, and nobody took me to the West Point Cemetery where these brothers got on the battlefield and died for us. Nobody knows there were 5,000 troops on the Appomattox battlefield and Robert Lee surrendered. They don't know anything about USCT. And we got a record right here in Norfolk that we don't let our children know about.
Okay.
I think we need to do something about it.
I'm taking note. I appreciate it. I'm taking note of that. I appreciate everybody and your thoughts and opinions there. Do not let this be the last conversation. Just because I'm having a public conversation, please reach out to me. Make sure you take a card. You can take extra ones there. I want to build relationship. That's what I said from the beginning. I'm one of 3 representatives that you have directly. You have the mayor who represents the entire city. You've got your ward representative, and then you have your super ward. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve you all. And I don't take nothing personal. So, just tell me, because if I don't know, I can't do nothing about it. So the more I know, the more I can be better for you. So appreciate you all. And thank you all for joining us online. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.